Pokemon Philosopher, Chapter 3, Part 4. Alright, let's see what kind of outcome we're getting into, besides Lagron. Although apparently the next one we're dealing with a Flarados. I think they know the Pokemon is fused with a Gyarados and it's sent to storage, but come on, Flarados sounds cooler. Well, actually, I haven't heard the name of the Pokemon yet, so it could be cooler than Flarados, but come on. Partial credit, at least. Please, I'm begging you. A storm in the sea. To be fair, a Lapras in battle-ready armor is pretty cool. I mean,
so,
it
following up on what
science
happened last time, we're going to take Sarah's advice and take one back with a shovel on us back to the shores of Navashore Bay.
I never heard that before.
Navashore being the local town around here, which we'll cover in another arc. We're focusing on the rumored Alcamon around these parts. But in order to find them, we're going to have to search around the edges of the Siren district, one of the region's 3 biomes. Again, more on this in another arc. But in the meantime, I can give you a taste of some of the many Pokemon that you can find in this biome and in this area. Starting things off, we have one of my personal favorites, Hyliashore, the coastaway Pokemon. They're actually a very common sight around the shores of this region.
Really?
Often seen lying around on the beach, just chilling, minding their own business. They sleep so much, most of the locals find it hard to tell if they're even alive. Because of this, they're often referred to as the Snorlax of the sea.
Okay.
On a much more active note, we have this little fella, Subsail, the submerged Pokemon and the pseudo-legendary of this region.
What?
They're small but feisty fellas, often waiting
to be like Nessie,
in the beach's oceans.
Well, that's where dragons are. Shouldn't be surprised that it's
nearby before dragging them into
surprising to get him so early, though.
If you see what appears to be a blue sail rising above the water, it's most likely not a floating object.
You probably need to use surf to get it or something.
These Pokemon are just as good at hunting in the water as they are out of it. One of their favorite targets being this little guy.
Ooh!
This is Gupplefish, the cuttlefish Pokemon. And they're probably some of the easiest meals you can find in the Pokemon Ocean.
Look a little different
Same applies to their
a bit
evolution,
of a redesign.
Guppeloid. Though, at least these guys have a protective shell to keep them safe. Most predatory Pokemon, including Subsail, go after these guys without a second thought.
Updated sprites.
However, they'll stay far away from their last evolution. That being the Titanous sea monster Pokemon, Kragalord, the kings of the deep. Make sure to find out more about these Pokemon in Pokemon Science and Magic. Other than them though, here's the old and here's the new. Got some good teammates? Well, you're gonna need them, especially for this upcoming Alcamon battle. If you stroll along the beach far enough, you'll eventually be able to spot a collection of islands. This is the supposed territory of the rogue Alcamon. The gaps in between these islands is mostly shallow, however there are a few deep ends which you'll have to watch out for. In order to get to the Alcamon's supposed location, you'll have to learn which is which, since you don't yet have the means to surf across water. The Pokemon that can be spotted around these parts are more or less the same as the beach, so you shouldn't dwell on them for too long. After all, once you make it to the right island, a real surprise is in store for you.
Oh? What sort of surprise?
On second thought, maybe I worded that wrong.
What? We're gonna find what that is in another arc or something? Ooh. Lapragon. Alright.
Introducing Project Dreadnought. This is Lapragon. The attempt was to simply make a cooler Lapras by giving it Aggron armor.
To be
Did
fair,
it work? Well, let's see. While the Pokemon is a lot more defensive, it's much heavier, so it has trouble swimming and can barely keep itself above water. Not to mention, its armor isn't used to being in the water all the time, so it's prone to rusting, which
Steel isn't weak to water,
poisons the Pokemon.
It's neutral.
Unfortunately for you, though, this one hasn't been here for too long, so it's full of energy and ready to sink your ships. During the fight, the Pokemon will constantly submerge itself and circle around the small island, which is your arena. While doing so, it will launch hydro pumps and flash cannons to catch you off guard, or just flat out smash you with its head if you get too close. However, doing so will stun the Pokemon, leaving it vulnerable for an opening. Also, despite being able to hide underwater, it's very slow, so use that to your advantage. Just make sure to be careful of its projectile moves. Also, starting now, Alcamon will require you to battle them 3 times instead of 2.
3?
So yeah, like I said, make sure to be prepared and bring your A game.
Yeah,
otherwise you're gonna get sunk real easily.
No doubt it'll be the surf.
What do you know? Another new friend. Now that Lapragon has joined our side, it will allow us to ride on its back, something which will come in handy once we decide to visit the rest of this biome.
I wonder if this is a game that will work like an X and Y, where Lapras gets its own sprite for surf.
Halfway done already?
Maybe.
We're on a roll. However, keep in mind our goals are to also learn about Professor Nicholas, as well as what the heck he's planning with these Alcamon. So let's make sure to keep an eye out for both him and his staff the next time we...
Thinking Let's Go, you got to see everyone
singing?
surfing mechanic thing. Oh wait, no, you didn't. Never mind. ATMs weren't really a thing in the game. I mean, they were there, but not really. Surprised not Cyranoid song. Oh! Ad.
Wanna travel to other regions in style?
No!
Well, look no further than the Cryoto Cruise Line. Hop aboard and visit the epic sports of Galar, the beautiful culture of Alola, or the bitter cold of the Cryoto region itself. This cruise line also so happens to be a guild from that very region. So if you're interested in learning about Cryoto's history, as well as its traditions, then this is your chance. Get your tickets now before they become popsicles. Player!
Sorry, I was staring off into space.
You are not going to believe what I've... What are you looking at?
Nothing. What did you want to talk about? Who's playing that Sonic game in the
I wanted to do a background check on Mr. Nicholas. Just look into his history. Things like medical records, form of study, all that sort of stuff. And the strange thing is, it doesn't really make much sense. I mean, the way it's described and some of these medical records, they sound like they're from the olden days. They don't really sound like a modern record at all. There's even one report of him catching a disease that we've long since found a cure for.
Really?
All the same,
would you like to share what disease that was?
I have been able to get some information out of them. It says here that he started experimenting with the alchemist stones around the age of 55. According to my research, Professor Nicholas theorized that the alchemist stones have the ability to shape and alter DNA. As for how or where he found the stones, well, it doesn't say anything about that.
That would have been violent, though.
Looks like I might need to ask Luker another favor after all. I'll ask him if we can gain the assistance of one of the gym leaders. If they're as good as he says they are, then they should be able to help us. Player, I'm going to make some arrangements. You continue handling the rogue Alcamon, while I try to arrange a meeting with this gym leader. I'll let you know when I've made the arrangements. That is all.
You probably mentioned, though, I did say earlier that Sparrow was speaking to a gym leader. I thought she was saying
Ladies
mom.
And gentlemen,
no, she was
welcome
saying
to the capital
ma'am.
of the Revolu region.
I guess it was a bit of an accent to mean Mysterian or something like that.
I'll go into more detail about this
just to clear that
another
up.
arc, but
mom,
for now, just know this is where another one of the rogue Alcamon is located, which is a problem since this is a heavily populated area, so we better track it down quick. After you've heard enough reported sightings and rumors, you'll find out that the Alcamon is taking roots somewhere around the big tower in the city.
Alcamon.
This isn't just any tower either.
Last time.
It's one that so happens to be owned by Professor Nicholas's company. It's usually for sightseeing, so there's not really much of a puzzle here. However, you will have to battle a few of his employees if you want to make it to the top.
I see.
Something about tickets being posted online or something like that.
Huh.
Anyway, it shouldn't take you too long.
Maybe gonna be a side mission.
Alright, we've made it to the top, and doesn't seem like there's anything here other than this incredible view. I suppose all we can do is just sit back and wait.
Banana do 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 do. Banana do 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 do. Oh, hello. What are you? Pidgeots?
Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves and hold on to your hats. Meet Project Thunderbird Pidgeot.
What the heck?
The attempt was to make Pidgeot even faster by fusing it with electrical kilowatt DNA.
Okay,
how did this backfire? Well, the Pokemon generates electricity constantly, and has been known to cause blackouts by overloading any electrical device it comes across.
Ooh.
It's also too fast now, not being able to control its own speed and often crashing into things. So yeah, it's a little accident-prone and clumsy, but don't let that fool you. This Pokemon is still pretty fast, and it'll show you that speed during this fight. Its ability to fly will give it complete control over the battlefield, and it will constantly attack at you with wild charges, attempting to swiftly knock you off the tower. If that wasn't bad enough, it can also summon lightning from the sky with thunder, and even has a Giga attack where it will crash into the center of the tower and create a huge electric discharge.
Jeez.
However, this will also leave it stunned, so that is your time to attack it. This Pokemon may be fast, but it's basically a glass cannon. All the same, make sure that speed doesn't catch you off guard. Otherwise, you're in for quite a shock.
And vice versa. That'll probably be our Fly. Or our Flash.
Now that Pidgeot's joined our team, we'll be able to use it as a glider, similar to Braviary from Legends Arceus.
Oh, cool.
Also, if we use this Pokemon while on the ground, we'll be able to use an electric dash attack.
Ooh.
Perfect for knocking Pokemon aside or getting rid of certain objects that are in our way, like trees.
I wish you could do that in the actual games. Like, you just have like a fucking
excuse
Rattata
me,
or some
pardon me, but
Pokemon
what are you doing with our Pidgeot?
Out of the way,
We
out of the
were
way,
using
out of
that
the way.
for a weather experiment.
Too bad.
Oh wait, hold on, I remember you. Ah, yes, you're Player, one of our contestants for our little Alchemon contest.
To you?
Ah, yes, quite lovely to meet you again. Tell you what, you can keep that Pidgeot. We've already done with it. Besides, I have plenty more where that came from.
What?
Behold, Pidgeekilo.
What? Free evolution?
Don't worry about the Alchemon that you got. I'll just use this one for the weather experiments. It
I
will
want
evolve
that
into
one too to make sure you can't
Pidgeot,
get it.
so no worries about that. Just keep in mind you'll need the necessary ingredients if you want to make another one as well. So what led you to catch my Pidgeot anyway? Was it those rumors about rogue Alchemon being loose around the whole region? I can assure you those are nothing but rumors. We have this situation 100% under
Then how do you
our
explain
control.
these?
We're taking the
This
right
is
precautions
all
to
the
make sure that
Alchemon.
these
I know you only have
Alchemon
one
do
up at a
not get
time,
out in
but
the
come on,
wild.
that'd be really cool.
And even if they were,
Really
we will take the
moment,
necessary fail-safes to assure they don't get out
really?
of control. And even then, they won't get out of control, because I assure you they are 100% safe. Now, if I were you, I would focus on collecting gym badges in order to win the contest. Trust me, you're going to love the Alchemon we have in store. Just you wait until the big event.
Big event.
How do these guys have this situation under control?
They don't.
How are these Pokemon safe? Well, let's just continue with our main objective at the moment. Eventually, we should get a call from Sarah, but until then, we'll just have to continue where we left off next time, as our journey through Revolu continues.
And we got 2 Alchemon for the price of 1, but last episode didn't have any new Alchemon besides the one on the Professor's team, so it evens out. I like the designs of these. I didn't know the electric type, but you know, I'm going to say to that part, so I thought it was going to be like a Pidgeotto and a Zapdos, so I'm like, what are you doing in combining a legendary with a Pidgeot? Not a Pidgeotto, a Pidgeot. I got the branch of Pokemon right. But yeah. These are pretty cool designs. I got to see 2 areas of the price of 1, which is pretty neat. Okay, so they're clear. They claim they got this under control. It's a load of barnacles, and we all know it. Or barbaricles. She's covering her face, and because we were catching her in her act. Yeah, unfortunately, we might just have to let her keep that Pidgeotto hybrid thing, just so that we save face and get more evidence against them and move on. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and I guess that Pidgeotto's gonna have to suffer for a little bit. Well, they're not really. It wasn't really suffering, I don't think. It didn't seem like it was in pain, unlike the muck. No, I think it's too fat. We'll fix this later. This will all be fixed. Hopefully. We'll tell by the end of the arc, but yeah. Either way. It's saying all the catchphrases. They don't wonder what that big event is that she's foreshadowing. Find out next time, I guess. So, until next time, later.